hi, hello, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess and I am a mess because I'm lost and I don't know what to do. So today's video is about me and my reading and where I'm struggling. And so this was inspired because I watched a video by Izzy from Happy From Now. I'll link it below. And she was talking about, in the video, Izzy was talking about hot takes and then also had like things she was tired of seeing and things she wanted to see. I don't remember if this fell under like some more context around a hot take or it was things she wanted to see. Anyway, you should watch the video, it was great. But it made me start thinking about my reading, because at one point she said like, I don't think a lot of people know what they want to read. And obviously we're all, or a lot of us are on social media. Some people may just watch YouTube, but then there's people who are on Threads, on Instagram, on TikTok, and you're always being bombarded by recommendations, even if that's not what you're looking for. And then some people, that's what they are looking for. Like they don't know what to read. And so they go looking for people to get recommendations and you end up with maybe a lot of things that you don't like. So I was thinking, and I'm like, what do I want to read? What do I enjoy reading? And my answer used to be simple. It used to be fantasy. I love fantasy, but I have not been having as much luck as of late with that. And I will say, obviously this is not every single book, because I did read a really great book recently that was an adult fantasy novel. That is a newer release. I think it came out last year. I think either last year or this year, The Raven Scholar. But that has been rare. The books I have enjoyed the most, for the most part, like this year, have been nonfiction. Not like there's anything wrong with that, but I'm like, when that would be someone would ask me the question like, what do you enjoy reading? My answer was fantasy. Like that's what I went to, and now I'm like, is that? And for a while also historical fiction, but I haven't read, I don't know the last time I read a historical fiction book. And I think I did like burn myself out because I read a lot of World War II historical fiction because there are so many. But watching Izzy's video, I was like, damn, what do I want to read? And even right now, I'm in the middle of filming a video, trying a chapter or a couple chapters of several books across genres, trying to figure out what I want to read, because when I think about it, I want to read, but I have no idea. And it used to be I could put my finger on what I wanted. I wanted action. I wanted like a sci-fi space opera. I want a quest fantasy story. I want some found family. I'm in the mood for romance. And I am really struggling lately to decide on my own what I want to read. And that sounds embarrassing at my big age, but it's the truth. And so I have, the last few books I read were from a Patreon TBR jar, so like books they've recommended to me for various reasons. And I read 3 books out of there. 2 fiction, 1 nonfiction. And then also I'm doing some of the books for my Try a Chapter video were recommended by Patreon. But I'm just like browsing Kindle Unlimited, looking through, and I think recently I've been struggling more because I don't have my own physical books. Like I do have a couple, but sometimes it would help to just go look at my shelves and really be like, ooh, okay, have an idea. But when I have like virtually unlimited, because right, the library, the bookstore, Kindle Unlimited to choose from, I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I would love to hear from y'all if you've experienced anything like this, and if you did, like how did you get back to figuring out what you really love to read? I'm hoping that this Try a Chapter video does help me a little bit, but I think I still need a kind of just massive overhaul in general. And I've spoken about this a few times about me wanting to go back and do way more backlist, like not even the last 5 years, like 2019 and before at least. I think that could be part of the problem, but also I'm like, I don't know if I don't know some things, I do know some things. What I do know is that as a content creator, I'm not good at finding a balance between what I want to read and what I feel I should read. And whether that should comes from recommendations or people or patrons just saying, hey, have you read this? Or you should read this. Or, ooh, this is getting attention, you should read this. or even if I did enjoy said book, I should reread it, or in order to make a long-winded explanation video for the next one, because I know those do well for some people. So I want to have this space to talk about things that I read, but then I also want to just read what I want to read, and I need a better balance, because sometimes I want to read things that are longer. They take me longer, which is fine, because any amount of time it takes you to read a book, you're still a reader, whether it takes you, you read it in 24 hours or you read it in a month. But then in my head, I get where I'm like, okay, well, I can read this 800-page book that I may really enjoy, but it's going to take me weeks to read it, or I can read these 300-page books in that time, therefore have more things to talk about, maybe more chances of getting a 5-star. And I know people will be like, Jessica, this is all ridiculous, and like, just read what you want to read, and I understand, but the problem is that it's just not working right now, so I'm trying to like talk through my feelings here. Also, just put this out there if anyone else is feeling like that. And then if you have been there and found your way back, we love, obviously, your responses. But so that's my struggle, finding a balance, because at the end of the day, FOMO does get me. Like sometimes even, reading what I want to read and this big book is blowing up and there's all this discourse about it. And I am not one to wade into discourse about a book if I don't know what the book is about. Do you know what I'm saying? So finding a better balance between reading for myself, trying not to get caught up in the numbers. I don't even know why. It's not like I'm not reading like as much as I have in the past right now. I'm reading maybe a couple books a month, 2 or 3. I think this month I have read at least 4, maybe 4 or 5, because I've been able to listen to some audiobooks. I was struggling for a while. So the balance between reading for me, not getting caught up in numbers, still, heeding or getting to Patreon request, and having time to fit in here and there a FOMO read, because it's not realistic to say I'll never do that. I definitely do it less now than I did before, but it still gets me. So I think, because Izzy in her video was saying like people who are like, TikTok lied to me, and it's like, well, no, maybe this book was just popular and it's not your reading taste. And I've definitely done that, like this book was hyped on TikTok and I'm trying it out and it's not for me. But even recently I've just been like, I need to take stock. So here are a few things that I know from my recent reading experiences, is that my attention span is struggling, because I'm always on something, and like TikTok or on Threads, or watching Charmed in one background and scrolling on Reddit in the other. Like, I know that needs work. That is something I have to work on myself, and it's a struggle, not gonna lie. Also, I have been struggling with traditionally published contemporary romance, so I'm like, let's go indie. One of my books for the Try a Chapter is an indie contemporary romance by an author that I enjoy. Also, again, new releases haven't been hitting for me. Even some of my most anticipated ones by authors that I've loved in the past is not working. But I really enjoyed the Raven Scholar. But that seemed to be, an anomaly in my reading. So I'm like, maybe I need to go back. There's so many fantasy series that I know I own. I just need to think about it. They're obviously in storage. Or even just, through the library and borrow books. They have been out for a long time. Books I've been meaning to get to. And also I don't know why I haven't read any middle grade in a while. When I read middle grade, I have a great time. They're faster paced. They fly by, but they still scratch that itch, especially fantasy. I enjoy young adult science fiction. I haven't picked that up. So I'm like, I feel like I know what has worked for me, but I need to get back there, and I need to just make some better choices. So this is me trying to hold myself accountable and just opening this discussion. So I'm gonna work on that. I saw a video, I'll link this one below also, which I really liked. And she was doing a challenge that was like just going off. I think she just went to the library and were just looking for books that she had never heard of. I don't know if she also went to the bookstore. Basically just looking at the cover, reading the synopsis, and going off that. And I feel like having been on the bookish internet for a while, that gets harder, but there still are so many books out there that I've never heard of. And I told this to my patrons because I always think of it when I go to the library or even in the bookstore. There are certain names like authors who are very prolific, but I've never read one. Like, is it something Steele? Danielle Steele. Janet Ivanovich or something? You know, like they have so many books. They have at least 20, 30 different books. I'm trying to think of other names. Obviously, there's James Patterson. I've read something by him. Not too interested in reading anything else. But you know, there's other names. They just have all of these books. So there's tons of books that I like don't hear about that I think that could be a fun challenge as well. And like I really would love to use this time to work on my physical TBR. Do I remember every book I own? No. And I don't have access to them, but I could still like read them via the library. So anyway, I want to turn around my reading year and come back at the end of the year and be like, I know what I love to read. I know what I want. That doesn't mean that every book's going to be a 5-star. It doesn't mean there's not going to be any flops. There could be a book by an author you love or a genre. It was written in 2015. Like, you know, there's nothing, none of this is guaranteed to give me 5-star, but wow, my reading has been lacking and it's up to me. It's up to me to reel it in, and I really gotta work on I really gotta limit my time online. It's difficult. So anyway, again, I ask if you have become lost like I am, but you found your way, if you could please tell me what helped, and wish me luck on this journey because I need it. But thank you so much for watching. Stay blessed, hydrated, moisturized, and sunscreen. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.